Hi, I'm Dr. John Young here at the Foundational Health Center here in Largo, Florida. I'm a medical doctor, and today we're going to be talking about ozonated oils. I was really introduced to ozonated oils a number of years ago because I had gotten a sample of some ozonated oil and I gave it to my wife, and her skin was unbelievable after using it. So the thing that I understand in medicine is if it has to do with looks, it's going to be great. Medical problems and ozone is good, but remember, looks are more important than medicine or how you feel. So a quick little review here is ozone is 3 atoms of oxygen. We have H2O, water, which is 2 atoms of oxygen with a hydrogen. But when you have 3 atoms of oxygen, it's completely different substance. Ozone is a 1/4 inch thick layer around the stratosphere, the Earth, and it protects us from a lot of the rays of the sun that are very harmful to us. But ozone kills any pathological bacteria. The good bacteria it doesn't touch. It kills viruses, parasites, mold. It's just a wonderful substance that God has made, and there's so many uses of it. A lot of people aren't using it because there's no money in it. Ozone is ozone, easily made. You can buy ozone machines. Here in our office, we use medical grade ozone, meaning it's made with medical grade oxygen, goes through the machine, and you can come out at different concentrations. But it gases off very easily. So to keep ozone around, you can put it in water, but it lasts maybe 3 or 4 days. But if you put it in an oil, it can last up to 5 years, they say, if you keep the container refrigerated. For a year if you do not refrigerate the container after using it. So I started experimenting with it with my wife, saying, listen, I've used this ozonated olive oil, but I put it in a coconut oil because it smelled better. And I had my wife put it on at night, and she takes her makeup off, use the ozonated coconut oil, and it was greasy for about 5 minutes, and then the greasiness went away. And I will tell you, after about a week, her skin was softer than our baby's behind, you might say. And it glowed. And she talked about how people commented on her skin just looked so much better. Any little imperfections or breakouts at that time of month just went away almost immediately. And so she's been using it for years. So I started using it on my daughter when she'd get those diaper rashes. And I remember our son was babysitting our daughter, and of course, he never changed her diaper for the 5 hours we were away from home. So he came home and terrible diaper rash, just terrible, crying, bloody. So I put some ozonated oil all over her bottom and changed her diapers. About 2 hours later, I called Karin and I said, Karin, you aren't going to believe this. It was 50% better within 2 hours. Basically, after 6 hours, you could hardly tell she'd even had diaper rash. Because ozone helps the immune system, but it wipes out yeast almost instantly. And the healing properties are so great. So I started using it on a number of my chronic wound patients, the bed sores and things like that. And the family was talking about how the smell has gone. We just use that. We don't have to use a lot of other products because it will kill any pathological bacteria without harming the good bacteria. It does promote healing because you're oxygenating the body at the same time. And it was easy to use and wasn't irritating. So I started using it on my patients with chronic wounds and diabetic foot ulcers. And it was just amazing to see how the patients were so pleased and how well it worked. I talked to one of the wound care centers, but then of course they talked about, well, your patient did well. What'd you do? Well, we did ozonated oil. Oh, never mind, we're not interested in that. There's no money in ozonated oils, you might say. So The ozonated oils have been good to use when you can't really be near an ozone machine. So we use it for diaper rash, for cosmetics. I've used it for a number of rashes. For some it works great, for some it doesn't at all. I'm just, wherever there's an antibiotic need, a wound, instead of using a lot of these penicillin type of creams, things like that, I'll just have them use ozonated olive oil. I've used ozonated olive oil on burns. It's not irritating like sulfidine is, and had great success with that. Very good success, because it kind of helps take away the pain. Because when you have a layer of oil across that skin, wind cannot, irritate the nerve endings because the oil protects there. And so a lot of the pain will go away very, very quickly. So one of the things that I wanted to just share with you all today is something that is very cheap and easy. You can store it at home, keep it in the refrigerator, and it will harden, but let it sit out for about 5 or 10 minutes, it'll soften up. But here's something that I find that is going to be very useful in the home environment, because it takes care of molds and pathological bacteria, and there's really, I don't know of any side effects, because it's ozone gas. And I've used it even in my mouth with some of those canker sores. I've used it for people that get gingivitis. You just put your finger in the oil and just rub it across that. And I've had a number of patients talk about how quickly it takes away the irritation and clears it up. Because anytime you can get large amounts of oxygen to a wound, it gets better quicker. So it's something that you need to think about. Ozonated olive oil, ozonated coconut oil, ozonated hemp oil. They've even made into little suppositories, and we use it for people that have rectal, we use rectal ozone suppositories for people with hemorrhoids, rectal fissures. Put it in there, it dissolves very quickly, and it's made a huge difference in some of these rectal problems. In the vagina, we've used it. People that have chronic yeast ear infections in the vagina has worked very well when we didn't want to use diflucan, things like that. So something to think about, and next time you're thinking about some type of wound care or something for a yeast problem, think of ozonated oil. I think you'll be very surprised.